in scoring, it's been tough to come by for the St. Louis Cardinals here in downtown St. Louis at Busch Stadium. The Giants have taken the first two of this four-game series. Cardinals trying to pick up a win. Monday night, Tim Lincecum, last year's Cy Young Award winner, dominating. 10-0 would be the final. Last night, the future Hall of Famer Randy Johnson, sharp at times, he would pick up the win, and the Giants have made it two straight over St. Louis. Al Raboski, Dan McLaughlin, and welcome to Cardinals baseball. Offense needs to get things going. We've been talking about that an awful lot, but it's really good starting pitching by the Giants. It sets the tone.
Yeah, a little disclaimer, because good pitching will stop good hitting. And Matt Cain, another one. This kid is 9-2, already 3 complete games, and he's vying for an all-star berth, maybe even the National League starter.
And for the St. Louis Cardinals, it'll be Adam Wainwright who gets the start against Matt Cain. Now, Wainwright, last 5 starts here at home, he's given the club a chance to win. The earned runs have been very good. It's our Toyota key to the game, Adam Wainwright.
Well, that's it. You just want to give your team a chance to win. He's done so, but very little run support, so he's lost abundance of those games. But on the season, he's been good at home with a 2.5+ ERA.
So Adam Wainwright gets the start for St. Louis. It'll be Matt Cain, a 9-game winner for the Giants. When we come back, a look at the outstanding month of June for Albert Pujols. We'll do that when we come back. Tough month for the Cardinals, but not for one player. Number 5, Albert Pujols, a record-setting month, June of 2009.
Dan, it still amazes us that pitchers are pitching to Albert with very little protection behind him. But look at the numbers in June. The 14 home runs ties a career high for that month. In 06, he had 14 in April. And the 35 RBIs, 3 more last night, sets a new career high for a single month.
And of course, Albert Pujols had 30 home runs and 77 driven in this year. A look at the plays of the month from June, next on Fox Sports Midwest. Giants and the St. Louis Cardinals turn the page on June, say hello to July, but let's take a look back at the plays of the month. There goes another one.
He hit another one.
Field, gone. Here's Rasmus into center field. To the wall, and it's gone. A throw to the plate. Here it comes. Oh, he got him. And he hits it a ton into center field. Deep left field. Has a chance to leave the park. It's a home run. Rasmus hits it into deep right field. And it's gone. Off of Mott. Slides to it. Throws to first and makes the play.
A swing and a high fly ball left field. It's a gunner! The first career grand slam for Ryan Ludwig.
Pujols, number 9 as far as grand slams are concerned. Off the new Hall of Fame. Rasmus comes up with a great catch in center.
Oh, look at this play. Wow.
Ankiel is back and makes the catch.
And a great catch out there by DeRosa.
Big Mac play just to the right of it. One of the longest home runs here at Busch Stadium. An incredible month for Albert Pujols, and on the year, 30 home runs, 77 RBIs. All-star memories when we come back on Fox Sports Midwest. In St. Louis, July 14th, live from Busch Stadium at 7 o'clock, and it's only on Fox. And speaking of All-Stars, how about a 10-time National League All-Star, Red Shandy, socked a game-winning home run in the 14th inning of the 1950 Midsummer Classic off of Ted Gray of the Detroit Tigers. Now, this marked the switch hitter's first career homer, batting right-handed. Shandy's later managed the senior circuit to victories in 1968 and again in 1969. Speaking of All-Stars and People's All-Stars Among Us campaign, 3 finalists from each MLB team were nominated for their charitable efforts. And today we congratulate Julianne Nahar as the Cardinals winner. Julianne makes care packages for U.S. soldiers, and she'll be honored during ceremonies before the All-Star game on July 14th, seen only on Fox. Baseball is coming up. It's Game 3, the Giants and the Cardinals from Busch Stadium next. By Bud Light, with just the right taste, it never fills you up. The difference is drinkability. By Steak and Shake, famous for steak burgers. By Auto Tire, for the lowest prices in town, we shop the competitors so you don't have to. And by Chevy, see your Mid-America Chevy dealers or shop and compare at stlchevy.com. And a gorgeous night for baseball here in downtown St. Louis, and glad you're with us. The Cardinals and the Giants here in Game 3 of this 4-game series. And a look at the Giants lineup. The Giants come in 42-34. Aaron Rowan, part of the White Sox World Series team, their center fielder, followed by Randy Wynn and Pablo Sandoval, Benji Molina, Nate Shireholtz, Edgar Renteria, the former Cardinal, Travis Ishikawa, Juan Uribe, and Matt Cain. They'll face big number 50, Adam Wainwright of the St. Louis Cardinals. His numbers presented by Marshall Wireless. Overall, his record stands at 8-5.
Really pitched very well here at home, but only 3 of his 8 wins at home and an ERA at 2.55. Leads the team in strikeouts, tied for the team lead in walks.
A look at the defense behind Adam tonight. Duncan, Colby, and Ryan Ludwig in right field. Thurston, Ryan, Schumacher, and Pujols along the infield. And the battery tonight, Adam Wainwright and Yadier Molina. So here is Rowan hitting .297 with 8 home runs and 33 RBIs, and we're underway. Maybe wondering where Mark DeRosa is at. He was examined by the team's medical staff today, diagnosed with a left wrist strain, as this pitch has popped up into shallow right field. Ludwig over to make the catch. And so he had to be removed from last night's game in the 6th inning, and his status is day-to-day. Tony La Russa saying before the game he may miss the Cincinnati series. So keep your fingers crossed for Mark DeRosa to get healthy. And with that, the Cardinals have made a move. Jared Hoffbauer, 26-year-old, has been recalled from AAA Memphis. Now he will become the 15th rookie to suit up for the Cardinals this year and the 9th to make a major league debut. How about that for a team that's right in the thick of things in the National League Central Division?
2 games out behind Milwaukee. But that is highly unusual to have so many rookies and then to make so many major league debuts. But as long as you got Albert.
Randy Wynn with a base hit right over the second base bag. A 1-out base hit up the middle. It brings in Sandoval, and time and again he's been on base along with most of these Giants throughout this 4-game series. 78 degrees on July 1st in St. Louis. Are you kidding me? It is gorgeous.
Wonderful day. 80 degrees on the scoreboard, but that was projected about the high today. Today was going to be 80.
Got to make room for Hoffbauer on the 25-man roster. Cardinals option right-handed pitcher Clayton Mortensen, who made his major league debut a couple of nights ago. This guy can hit. How about Sandoval and the kind of start he's off to the first half of this season, and he very well could be an all-star this year.
He's 3rd in the National League batting, and in June he hit just a shade under 400.
0-1 pitch to the switch hitter Sandoval. Slices foul and out of play. Good news, by the way, with the Cardinals' third baseman Troy Gloss. He'll report to Jupiter, where he will continue his therapy and rehab for his right shoulder, and he will also begin baseball-related activities. 32-year-old has been on the DL all season long.
You'd have to assume it would be very quick for him to get here in August.
You can see right there with how Schumacher fielded that. Maybe in the back of his mind, that split second, do I have enough room to let this drop and get a double play? Is it going to hit the dirt and turn a 4.63?
Can you get that short hop? But the most important thing is make sure you get a out, and he catches it on the line.
He's really played well over at second base as Skip Schumacher, and now it's Benji Molina. What a series this guy has had. His average is up to 262 with 10 home runs, 45 RBIs. We talked about it last night, but you could see the Molina brothers in the All-Star game this year. And Benji has had the best of Yadier throughout their careers in head-to-head matchups. The outfield pretty shallow and a big gap in the left center. Here comes a 1-0 pitch. And a ground ball hit to Brendan Ryan. Force play at second. Schumacher is there. Giants strand a runner. Cardinals coming up. That means Albert's due up. 4-game series.
What you like on the braço, man?
And Matt Cain gets the start for the Giants. The Marshall Wireless starter. He's really had everything come together this year, Alan. He's 9-2.
24 years of age, and you're right about everything coming together. One of the facts is he can throw his changeup anytime in the count.
Well, I know that Cal Eldred talked about it. There's a strike to Schumacher that Mike Matheny, who was a catcher in San Francisco, talked about Matt Cain. I remember asking Mike about their young staff. This is hit on the ground. On a hop, Renteria quickly to first, and safe is Schumacher. And he's on his way to second base as that got away from Ishikawa. But I was about to say, he said that Matt Cain has electric stuff, but still trying to piece it all together. It looks like this year he has.
Yeah, he came up to the big leagues when he was 20 years of age, almost 22.
So base hit and an error on the play. Cardinals lineup: Schumacher, Rasmus, and Pujols, Ludwig, Duncan, and Molina, Thurston, Wainwright, and Brendan Ryan.
Yeah, that's one of those plays right there that, you know, the first baseman, Ishikawa, has got to make sure that ball doesn't get by him. It wasn't that close a play at first base, and then he allows the ball to get by him and put Schumacher in scoring position.
So here's Rasmus with Pujols behind him. The best spot in any lineup, hitting number 2 in front of Albert. Bunts it in the air. It's popped up. Molina with a play and makes the catch. A look at the defense for the Giants. Wynn, Rowan, Shireholtz in the outfield. Sandoval, Renteria, Uribe, Ishikawa along the infield. And the battery tonight, Matt Cain and Benji Molina. You wonder why Albert Pujols has had such a remarkable season and coming up a great month. I was thinking about this on the way home last night. Why are they pitching to Albert Pujols? He had 2 home runs last night. The only reason I could come up with is that the Cardinals are losing games, and he's coming up in situations where he can't do a ton of damage. For instance, last night, 6-1.
Right.
Randy Johnson pitched to him, hit a home run.
And you have some very capable and good competitors. Lincecum, you know, he sit there, and the first time he struck him out, then he lined out one to third base, then a double over Wynn's head out and left, and he goes, hey, as long as I challenge him, he can't beat me. You know, I don't give up. I keep the ball in the ballpark, and he doesn't drive in a run. He goes, I think I win. And he's right.
So 61st walk and 25th intentional pass to Pujols. And Jim, I know you had a chance to visit with the catcher of the Giants, Benji Molina, about Pujols.
Yeah, and I asked him that question, why pitch to Albert at all in certain situations. And he said, as you did, Dan, that based on the fact that they had a lead, they had Randy Johnson on the hill, they figured the situation was right to challenge Pujols. Didn't work out. But Benji said he had a feeling from there on out that would change, and they probably would work around Albert.
And so now it's up to a guy like Ludwig to provide some type of protection. Either Ludwig, Ankiel, Duncan, somebody. I thought he showed a little bit of a, you know, maybe a breakout last night, Ludwig, with the way that he swung the bat. It looked better.
I had a double and a triple last night. And ever since he ended that 0-for-14 skid on Sunday, he's been hitting the ball with a little more authority and more consistent.
0-1 pitch. But again, it tells you that the Cardinals aren't winning games, and at times they've been blown out. Here in the last 8 days, we've seen an 11-0 loss, a 10-0 loss. And in games like that, it doesn't matter who's up there.
Right. Again, so far, I've only heard about a grand slam. I haven't heard a 10-runner.
Nope, and you're not going to either. Runners at first and second, and the 1-1 pitch taken for a ball up and in. Ludwig, the All-Star a year ago, has seen his average dip to 233, 11 home runs, 38 RBIs. Last night he hit one to the track in left field, as it looked like he and Pujols may have gone back-to-back. He also struck out, and as Al told you, a double and a triple in Game 2. And here comes a 2-1 pitch. That's a strike, 2-2.
You know, the home runs and RBIs for Ludwig are fine, especially considering he spent 2 weeks on the disabled list, but hasn't quite been the same since returning to the lineup. But indications are, you know, little glimpses. You know, one day last week he had 3 walks in a game, the 2 extra base hits last night. He's getting closer.
I have to say that this is probably the best pitching matchup in baseball here tonight. There's a base hit, and here comes Schumacher. Throw from right field. Not in time, and the Cardinals lead it 1-0, and there you go. Somebody behind Albert making the opposition pay, and tonight it's Ludwig here in the first with his 39th driven in.
It's nice to see the Cardinals break out on top. They usually do that 3 times out of 4. They'll win the ball game. And Shireholtz's throw just a little offline. Good piece of hitting there. Schumacher scoring from second base, being wound up and coming home without a play at the plate.
And now we mention all the great pitchers that were pitching last night in baseball. Cliff Lee, John Smoltz, of course here Randy Johnson and Carpenter, Johan Santana. And tonight it's more about the future stars. Wainwright and Kane. Gallardo is pitching for Milwaukee. Josh Johnson for the Marlins. Cole Hamels, a World Series hero. Those are guys that all should be around a long, long time.
Duncan's had some success. 3 for 7 with a home run off of Kane.
1 ball, 1 strike. Scoring first means a lot for the Cardinals. Team that scores in the first inning has won the last 5 games. And the Cardinals have had a lopsided record when it comes to scoring first. Here's a 1-1 pitch to Duncan. Well, there really is no reason to pitch to Albert Pujols, so the intentional walk, and Ludwig makes him pay with a base hit to right. 1-2 the count.
Kane lost his last time out when he allowed 5 runs. Second time he's done that this season. The time before that, he got a no decision, but he's only gotten 1 run in support the last 2 starts.
1-2 pitch is fouled back. Dave Duncan, the Cardinals pitching coach, was a guest of Mike Shannon's on the pregame show, and Mike asked him how his pitching and hitting changed in the last 5 years, and he talked about 5 years ago it seemed like everybody in a lineup could hit the ball out of the ballpark. Wonder why that's changed.
I don't know what that meant.
The drug policy in baseball apparently is working a little bit. A little bit. 1-2 the count.
Let's hope so.
A broken bat, little liner, and a double play. So lined it to Uribe, steps on the bag, and the Cardinals pick up an RBI base hit from Ludwig. In St. Louis, and before the game, what a great thing that many folks around the country have been doing in putting this together. These folks were honored before the game. 6 Army soldiers, including 2 Missouri residents, They sustained severe injuries in combat in Iraq and Afghanistan, received Segway personal transporters to improve their mobility. And, of course, this was a special presentation before the game. Right there, that high five from Mike Kelly. That's the voice of the Missouri Tigers. He's heavily involved in this program, and it's great to see. And a standing ovation from the crowd here at Busch Stadium.
Well, those young men, debt of gratitude for what they have done for us, fighting for our freedoms.
Here's Shireholtz. No balls and a strike. Shireholtz was part of the Team USA Olympic team. He's been considered one of their top prospects in the outfield. Wasn't heavily recruited coming out of high school. Played at a junior college. Improved his game. Was a third baseman. They moved him to right field. And a second-round pick when they did draft him back in 05. Shireholtz hitting .311 with 3 home runs, 12 RBIs, and has really packed a punch in the middle of this lineup for the Giants.
It's kind of an interesting lineup, isn't it?
It's much better than it was a year ago.
And much better than we had anticipated.
I think they had anticipated, too. Because going into this season, you didn't know about Shireholtz. You've added Edgar Renteria. Ishikawa has been a disappointment at times, and this is the Hotshot Sports Bar and Grill Exmo Cam. And Sandoval is 22, so you had no idea. You know, you figured he's going to be a good player, but you didn't realize it was going to happen this soon.
And Shireholtz and Ishikawa have gotten hot of late, as this team's just really trying to find its own personality.
But
it's defined by pitching.
Yeah, that's about to say. Bottom line is they can pitch. Here's Renteria, the former Cardinal, 33 from Columbia, as he signed with Florida back in 1992. Signed a 2-year, $18.5 million deal with San Francisco. Last year with Detroit, he had .270, 10 home runs, and 55 RBIs. 5-time All-Star for the Giants.
This road trip, Renteria's hit almost 400 against pitchers, and he's .333 against Wainwright this year.
2-1 pitch. On the outside corner, 2-2. It's been up and down a little bit this year for Wainwright, but still he does lead the staff in wins as he comes in with a record of 8-5.
He's got the most run support in the National League, and there's times when he's needed it. Most of the time he's good enough where it's just been helpful.
It's Chris Carpenter that noticed about a month and a half ago a different arm slot with Wainwright, especially delivering the curveball, and they've changed things up with that, and it's been beneficial. A fly ball into right. Ludwig backs up, now comes in to make the catch. 2 outs if you're traveling and can't catch the Cardinals TV broadcast. Catch all the action on your computer at MLB.tv. Over 100 live out-of-market games per week. For complete details, visit STLCardinals.com. That's where baseball is always on. Tim Cheetah. And that's taken for a ball a little bit low and away by Ishikawa. Tim Cheetah's got the facial hair going, and so do these starters of the St. Louis Cardinals, but none can match that of Josh Kenny's in the bullpen. I'm sure you, the Mad Hungarian, certainly appreciate that look.
That, Dan, you never asked me, but I am paying homage to the Cardinal relievers. I've started growing the facial hair.
Al, you've been doing this for years.
Yeah, but I was clean shaven all year until recently. Or did you notice?
I don't notice these things. Why would I care if you want to have a mustache or a beard or a Fu Manchu? Ouch.
Carpenter's elbow, where he's had the Tommy John surgery and then the nerve transposition surgery last fall.
It's amazing how many guys in baseball now have had the Tommy John, and it seems like it is commonplace with pitchers, and it's now becoming even more commonplace with position players. Remember Tony Womack a few years ago? He had the Tommy John, and he was back within 6-7 months.
Yeah, you got to add almost twice as much time for a pitcher.
Here is Juan Uribe.
11 to 12 months usually probably pretty much the norm for a pitcher, but they have perfected that Tommy John surgery much to a higher degree than they had the rotator cuff.
They talk about accomplishments in the game of baseball and the impact in the game of baseball. What about Tommy John? I was talking to somebody that said maybe he should get some type of consideration for the Hall of Fame.
He has 283 wins or something thereabouts.
And then you think about what he's really known for, which is the surgery.
The procedure that no one had ever had it until Dr. Jobe that performed that surgery against Tommy John or on Tommy John.
There's Lincecum. He never ices his arm after games.
Then, the Cardinals, when I joined them, that was forbidden. No one used ice. And sort of the study was that, Bob Gibson versus Drysdale and Koufax. Bob never used the ice. Those two guys did. Their career ended much earlier.
Here's a ground ball hit to short. Brendan Ryan. Underhands to Schumacher. Midway through 2. Cardinals lead at 1-0. Utley and the Phillies, Tigers, Twins, Dodgers, Padres. Fox Saturday Baseball this week on Fox. Check local listings for the game and start time in your area. Yadier Molina leads it off for the Cardinals. Molina, Thurston, and Wainwright. 6, 7, and 8 for the Cardinals in this lineup. Benji behind the plate, Yadi at the plate. Benji is the oldest of the 3 Molina brothers and a 2-time Gold Glover. And Yadi won the Gold Glove last year. How about in between starts? What did Bob Gibson do? We always hear about guys now running and side sessions, but what did Gibson do? Molina, left field, well hit. Wynn is back and on the track to make the catch.
Well, most of the time he was in a 4-man rotation. But early days, they used to throw batting practice in between starts. They literally through batting practice. You didn't have what you have today, where you have 6 or 7 different. A lot of the guys are college coaches. They throw batting practice for the Cardinals here at home, but Bob's knees were so bad that he did not run. What he would do, it's the day after he pitched. Remember, he went 9 innings more times than not. Is he would field ground balls for all through batting practice over at third base and throw across the diamond.
You see Molina do that all the time.
He's had a pitcher, starting pitcher. These guys wouldn't even think about doing anything the next day. How about batting practice? Could tell one of these guys to throw batting practice in between starts.
Well, you know, you do see a lot of guys, they'll just play catch. It's not BP, and then they'll have their bullpen session. I know a lot of them do a lot of running and some of the exercises with Pete Prenzi, the strength and conditioning coach, as Thurston waves at it and strikes out. But Bob Gibson defined by that blazing fastball, devastating slider, and the year of 1968.
That's one of the things that Matt Cain is. They kind of felt that here's a young guy that really needed to work a little harder. And they kind of challenged him a little bit. Came into spring training about 30 pounds lighter. And they said it's really made a difference also.
There's Wainwright. You're talking about those complete games. Of course, Gibson 255 complete games, 251 wins. 1968, 34 starts, 28 of those complete games back in 1968, and the outstanding ERA of 1.12. Think about that.
Well, think about the fact that he was 22-9. How do you lose 9 games with a 1.12 ERA?
Wainwright, good play by Ishikawa as he backhanded it off the bat of Adam Wainwright. Matt Cain leads it off when we come back. 1-0 St. Louis. One to nothing St. Louis as they lead the San Francisco Giants for the ultimate keepsake that celebrates the all-star tradition of the Cardinals and St. Louis. Don't miss the 09 Cardinals All-Star Yearbook. It's tremendous. This is the definitive souvenir of the All-Star Game, commemorating the All-Star Games from the past and present. And that pitch is taken low and away by Matt Cain. Cain, Aaron Rowan, and Randy Wynn for San Francisco. The highly touted pitcher, Matt Cain, against Adam Wainwright. He taps it foul, 1 ball, 1 strike.
One more thing about Gibson, you mentioned that he'd lost 9 games in that Cy Young series, MVP, 68. He was involved in 15 1-0 games. 15 1-0 games that year. His record was 10-5.
The Cardinals would make it to the World Series. They lost to Detroit in 7 games. He had 3 complete games and 35 strikeouts in the World Series, did Bob Gibson. If not for a slip of Curt Flood.
Right, Curt Flood slipped.
Who knows what may have happened?
Yeah. Cardinals had a 3-1 lead.
So strikeout and second of the night for Wainwright. Here's Aaron Rowan. Different ways to approach hitting the baseball. Rowan seems to be really tied up. Maybe we can pan away and you'll see the wide base and how he stands at the plate as opposed to some of the other hitters. He turns on the pitch and knocks it into left. Takes all different kinds.
I said he looks like Ron Say, you know, facially, kind of the body's very similar. The nickname Ron Say, the Penguin. And you see this batting stance and everything, but it's all about the hands.
Rowan made his major league debut against the Cardinals in 2001 in interleague play when he was with the Chicago White Sox, and now it's Randy Winn. Randy Winn, the 34-year-old from Los Angeles. Been with Tampa Bay, Seattle, and now San Francisco. Quietly, this guy's really had a nice career. Originally signed by Florida, and then in the expansion draft went to Tampa Bay. All-Star in 2002, and this is his 4th full season with the San Francisco Giants.
Well, hits last night, but has really struggled last couple weeks.
And a 1-0 pitch. Winn lines it into left center field. Rasmus on the move and makes the catch.
Well, they got a nice jump on that ball and just glided to it.
And it brings in Sandoval.
Good to see that Kobe is feeling better with his hiatal hernia and slicing away from him, coming off the bat of the left-hander. So with that good jump, he gets there with plenty to spare.
Talked with Colby before the game about changing his diet and trying not to eat as much after games, which has caused this issue. And he said, this is going to be very tough for me.
Well, it really is. And he and I talked about it yesterday. Is, you know, it's probably the worst habit for major leaguers. They're always playing night games. And in his case, he says, I'm the hungriest after the game. There's another factor is taking smaller bites and fully chewing his food.
Sandoval into right and on the run, making the catch, Ryan Ludwig. Brendan Ryan, Skip Schumacher, Colby Rasmus 2 up. It's 1-0. By Kia Motors. To learn more, visit kia.com. By the Casino Queen, home of the loosest slots. and by Taco Bell. Get a $5 off admission coupon for the All-Star Game MLB Fan Fest now at Taco Bell. A week from this Friday, Fan Fest gets going at America's Center. All-Star festivities. And here is Brendan Ryan, the 9th place hitter. I want to make sure that fans know that tomorrow's start time, if you're headed to the ballpark, is at 6:15 tomorrow night. 6:15 with our first pitch tomorrow night. Todd Wellemeyer and Barry Zito. Wellemeyer 6-7. He needs to have a good start tomorrow. And Zito, the former Cy Young Award winner, is 4-7. Strike 2 on Brendan Ryan.
Thanks for informing me.
Want to make sure you're here, Al.
I'd be here, but I wasn't aware there was an earlier start time.
And a big start for Wainwright, no doubt.
No doubt. There's Zito, who's pitching better this season, but still not up to the Cy Young Award status.
0-2 pitch to Brendan. Throws the bat at it and hits it out of play. Want to send along congratulations to Paul Trippy for his engagement to Adrian Magoo. So happy wishes to them.
The Trippy Magoo wedding, huh?
Trippy
Magoo.
There you go.
The Trippy Magoo wedding.
All Trippy, congratulations. Here's the 0-2 pitch. I just get the notes, Al, and I read them. Center field, drops in for a hit. And a base hit for Brendan Ryan.
The Trippy Magoos are going to have a long time to catch up to Marilyn and Rich series as they're celebrating their 50th wedding anniversary this series here in St. Louis from Davenport, Iowa.
Pat, Jim, Cal, and Rick. If Al ever gets a computer, he'll be doing it. Blogging during the game.
No, he will not.
Blogging during the game. FoxSports.com/Midwest. You can find it on our webpage at FoxSports.com/Midwest. And there they are working diligently upstairs.
They look nice in their black shirts.
Really, really do. And I think they look nice and cool up there, too, as they enjoy the normally closed-in press box upstairs. But they're working hard. I want to make sure that we slight them any bit. They're up there working very, very hard right now. There's Cal on the left and Pat Paris and Jim Hayes on the right.
Notice something that's different about them? Notice something that's different about them? They're not eating.
0-1 is the count on the hitter here. Skip Schumacher. Happy birthday to Lisa Campbell of Fox Sports Midwest. Oh, I can't wait for this. I just got word that you and Jim will be debating on tomorrow night's telecast. And
we'll be what? Fizzling or
whatever they call it.
What is that?
I call it a debate. So what is the what's the subject?
Oh, you'll like this. Should Brett Wallace be brought to the big leagues?
I'm going to say that your take is that he needs to stay down in the minor leagues.
You'll have to tune in tomorrow.
Well, I'll be here. Brett Wallace, 3 for 4 last night. 14-game hitting streak. Slicing towards left center. Aaron Rowan with the catch. And fires back to first base. And safe is Brendan Ryan. That's a former Gold Glove winner out there, Aaron Rowan.
Well, you brought up a good point. The first 2 games of this series, a former Gold Glove winner is being replaced in the late innings for defense. There's a terrific play, and Brendan Ryan just had a split second that he got back over to first base.
Just in there safely. Hot Shot Sports Bar and Grill with the Exmo camera. They'll be busy during the All-Star break, and it's located on Broadway, just 1 block south of the ballpark. Here's Colby Rasmus with 1 out, and Pujols on deck. And Brendan Ryan is picked off, but they throw it away.
Benji could use a little work like his brother. Maybe Yachty will give him a little tutoring on that play. But you're right, Brendan Ryan was dead to right. He goes and then he sees that the catcher gets it, but then he throws the ball away too wide of his first baseman into right field, and the Cardinals and Ryan really catch a break.
Do they ever? He winds up in scoring position.
Second error by the Giants tonight, and they're a very good defensive club.
Only thing is, it makes the decision that much easier with a runner at second base, first base open. If Colby doesn't get on, pitch around Albert Pujols, and Rasmus hits it in the air, shallow center field. Rowan makes the catch, and there's 2 away. First time up, intentionally walked was Pujols. Maybe something that should be debated is whether or not Albert has a chance to win the Triple Crown this year. Right now, he is 6th in batting average. He's hitting .332. He almost hit one in Big Mac Land last night. He's got 30 home runs, 77 RBIs.
Well, it had definitely the distance. It was just wide of it. And look at this, the crowd will tell you what they're going to do.
It seems like we see that just about every time this year that Pujols puts himself in contention to be in that conversation for the Triple Crown.
Right, it has not happened since 1937, and last to do it was Ducky Medwick.
That was in the National League.
In the National League.
And Yastrzemski
did it in the American League in the late 60s.
And so an intentional walk to Pujols. Ludwig has made them pay tonight with an RBI base hit back in the first.
Dan, I think this is the second time this season that he has been intentionally walked the first 2 plate appearances. That's a rarity in itself.
Ryan Ludwig steps in with runners at first and second. Intentional walks most in the National League. Pujols at 26. Adrian Gonzalez has had a great year for the Padres. Their first baseman, Chipper Jones, who won the batting championship last year. Those 3.
Is Gonzalez still leading in walks? It's a bit odd that you would think Albert would be leading there, but I know last week it was Gonzalez.
2 outs, runners at first and second for Ludwig. 1-0 St. Louis. Fouled back.
Well, if you don't like the intentional walks, then Ludwig has to do what he did or more, like back in the first inning. Cardinals had the 1-0 lead because of the RBI single after Pujols was walked, and Schumacher was reached base on an infield single to lead off the game for the Cardinals.
And an 0-1 pitch. Hit out of play, 0-2. Ludwig with that RBI was his 39th. The numbers in start for Pujols are just incredible. 32 times in baseball history a player has hit 30+ home runs before the All-Star break. And the highest ever was Barry Bonds. He had 39 before the break in his record-setting year, 73 home runs.
One thing we forgot about the new record that Albert set again last night. Broke his own record.
And the ball scoots away, so runners at second and third.
That's 9 consecutive years Albert's had at least 30 home runs. No player, I think it's like 3. Prior to Albert, nobody had ever done it more than 3 times, and he's done it all 9 years.
So wild pitch charge to Kane, but how many of those players have had 30+ home runs and hit above 325? It's a great question. And so far in baseball history, only 6 have done it. Albert being the latest. Have to go back to Willie Mays back in 1954.
And how many times has Albert done that in his first 9 years?
And good block there by Molina. Luis Gonzalez did it. Ken Griffey Jr. with Seattle back in '94. Willie McCovey. So a couple of the Giants represented on that list. Frank Thomas did it also in 1994. He was with the White Sox. A couple of future aces on the mound tonight. Matt Cain and Adam Wainwright. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Chris Duncan on deck. Runners at second and third. Full count.
Dan, 7 of Albert's 8 seasons, or excuse me, first 7 of his 8 seasons, he's hit better than 325. 314 was the only time he didn't.
3-2 the count. Ludwig draws a walk. 3 walks issued by Kane, 2 of those intentional to Pujols. Let's see if Duncan can do some damage as he lined into a double play first time up. Inning started with a single by Brendan Ryan. Schumacher would line out. Rasmus flied out. Pujols the intentional walk. A walk to Ludwig. And now the base is loaded for Chris Duncan. Does have 2 grand slams in his career. Seen that Duncan is susceptible to those off-speed pitches, the curveballs, and that's so important to get strike one if you're Kane with the bases loaded here.
Yeah, and then we talked about too how this year he really has command of not only his fastball but the changeup.
Here's an 0-1. Make it 0-2. Another fastball. Brendan Ryan, by the way, dancing down that third base line.
Fastball right down the middle.
In the hole now, 0-2. Molina on deck if Duncan can extend the inning. 3 pitches and a strikeout for Matt Cain. Cardinals have stranded 4 on the night, and it's 1-0. Against Adam Wainwright, 4th inning rolls in here at Busch Stadium in St. Louis. Molina, Shireholtz, and Renteria. First time up, grounded into a fielder's choice. Benji spent part of 8 seasons with the Angels, now in his 3rd season with the Giants, and he's been an RBI machine. First couple of years with San Francisco. 91 RBIs as a catcher, 2nd highest ever for a San Francisco catcher. Did that a year ago.
Leading all National League catchers again in home runs and RBIs.
Had to go down to get it. And hits it into center field. Colby Rasmus back to make the catch. Saturday, July 18th, 15,000 fans will receive a Cardinals-themed dog tag necklace courtesy of Jack in the Box. And to purchase tickets, visit STLCardinals.com. That's against the Diamondbacks, and Brandon Webb is saying that he will not have surgery and eyes return back for the Diamondbacks at some point this year. It's a team that went to postseason play last year, but they have fallen again on hard times this season. Out to Duncan in left. He's got it for the second out. So quickly, 2 away.
It's good to see Wainwright really controlling the strike zone and minimizing his pitches, being very efficient.
Well, both pitchers tonight have a combination of experience and youth. Wainwright 27, Matt Cain is 24. Both are in their 5th years with each club. As Renteria looks at his strike. Wainwright in his career 35 and 21, but he's closed out a World Series. Cain is actually under 500 at 39 and 45, and both have respectable ERAs under 4.
Adams pitched very well right here, but he hasn't gotten as much run support at home as on the road. 5 wins on the road, 3 wins at home. Much better ERA here at 2.55.
Renteria calls time. World Series heroes, these two. Renteria with a game-winning hit for the Marlins, and Wainwright closing out a postseason. Curveball is hit to third base. 1-0 St. Louis. Rapid rewind. AT&T, the nation's fastest 3G network. AT&T, your world delivered. Bottom of the 4th rolls in here at Busch Stadium. 1-0 Cardinals, and Yadier Molina leads it off. Molina, Thurston, and Adam Wainwright, if anybody can reach the 9th place hitter tonight, Brendan Ryan.
Milwaukee's already lost today by that same score, 1-0. So the Cardinals could get within a game with a victory here tonight.
Molina flied out back in the 2nd, out to left field. Major League Baseball today has expanded the All-Star rosters yet again. So to be a total of 33 players on each squad. That's on the heels, of course, of last year's marathon at Yankee Stadium, which was won 4-3. Both squads had used up all available players, and only the Giants' Tim Lincecum did not play, but he didn't play because he was
in
ill.
the hospital.
Yeah, he was sick.
That's good. I mean, if you're going to have it, expand the rosters.
There's a liner into left center field. Rowan cuts it off. A wide turn by Yadier, and he has a base hit to start the bottom of the fourth. Second time this decade that the All-Star rosters have been expanded following the bump from 30 to 32. That was for the 03 Midsummer Classic. And that was because in 02, the game in Milwaukee ended in a 7-7 tie after 11 innings. National League had run out of pitchers.
And you don't want to hurt somebody. But you touched on it a little bit yesterday or the day before. Tony talking about, you know, if you have a starting pitcher that pitches on Sunday, you know, should he really be entitled to be on that roster? I think he should be honored as somebody that maybe qualifies, but he's not going to be able to help you.
Like Tony was saying, you want to win the game because this one counts. But let's say that Carpenter pitched on Sunday. Then he pitches on Tuesday, as Barry Weinberg helping out Tony with some lip balm. But the other thing is, too, you owe it to the other clubs to be respectful of the players that they have out there.
Yeah, and, you know, I mean, in theory, you're managing a club that you're going to be competing with. You got their ace who pitched on Sunday. You pitch him again on Tuesday, and then he can't make the first start after the All-Star game.
Exactly.
So there's little gamesmanship you can play within your division, too.
0-2 pitch to Thurston. And again, he goes after a high pitch. It strikes out for the second time tonight. Are you ready for the 09 Major League Baseball All-Star Game, where you can catch all the action live from Busch Stadium Tuesday, July 14th, 7 Central on Fox. This one counts. I mentioned last night how Scott Rowland very well could be part of the American League team, as he is third best in batting average in the American League at .331 at the start of play tonight. Ichiro Suzuki at .373, and then you have Cabrera of Detroit at .332. But you could see two former Cardinals from that 06 World Series team as a part of it. Scott Rowland, and how about Jason Marquis?
I was just going to say Jason Marquis. He's got 9 or 10 wins.
He now has 10 wins. He's the only National League pitcher with 10 wins, Al. And last night it took him, and I watched the game, it took him 86 pitches at Dodger Stadium. So Jason Marquis at 10 wins, 86 pitches, complete game. I thought it was interesting. Chris Iannetta, his catcher, said he was awful in the bullpen before the game. He said it was one of the worst warm-up sessions he had had of the year, of spring training, whatever. He said he was terrible, and then he went out and throws an 86-pitch complete game.
Okay, now how many times have you heard a starter or a pitching coach go, man, I don't know what happened. He had no hit stuff in the bullpen.
That's why I brought it up, because I knew you'd enjoy this.
Because you know what happens is when you feel that good in the bullpen, you go out there and say, oh, this is going to be a piece of cake, and you forget concentration. When you struggle warming up, you know your adrenaline's going to kick in once the game starts. But usually you go out there and you concentrate even more on your mechanics or how to get the pitch down in the zone. You do all those things because you think it's going to be a struggle, and you usually end up having a much better game.
See the pitch count at 57 for Kane and 43 for Wainwright. And I always talk about watching Pujols and BP because I love to watch him hit. And sometimes he comes away with some of the best BP sessions you've ever seen a major leaguer have. And you came up to me last night. You said you watched Pujols hit. You said it was not one of his better BP sessions. First at bat, he struck out, and then he hits 2 home runs.
Right. I mean, and I know you watch it much more than I, but it's amazing. When you tell me he has a great one, he usually has a great game. But I watched him yesterday, and he couldn't get the ball in the air. And I think it was his 4th round before he ever hit his first home run.
2-2 pitch. Wainwright hits it in the air out to center. Rowan there makes the catch. And there's 2 outs. So it's up to the 9th place hitter, Brendan Ryan.
Cardinals have the 1-0 lead. They do have 4 hits, all singles, and the inability to advance the runner. And when you think about Brendan Ryan, you know, who's prior to having that little wrist injury and just some bout of physical soreness all over his body, you know, he was swinging the bat well, but it was always singles.
And a strike on the outside corner by Kane. Wonder how Hal McRae's been holding up during this up and down time of his offense.
Very simply, you know, when the Cardinals don't score any runs, it's Aldretti's the hitting coach. When they have a really good offensive game, Hal's the hitting coach.
Popped up. Is it playable? Molina near the screen and has a play. Second time he's made a catch in foul territory here tonight. So we played 4 at Busch Stadium. Now the Cardinals lead it 1-0. First inning wild pitch allows a run and snaps Bob Gibson's 47 2/3 inning scoreless streak. July 1st, 1968, this date in baseball history. It was the year of the pitcher, wasn't it, Al? 1968.
68, and then after that they lowered the mound from 15 inches to 10 inches to try and help the hitters. And they've done everything else to help the hitters ever since.
Arguably the most significant year in baseball, 1947. Jackie Robinson breaks the color barrier in the game of baseball. And then you had 1974, and I know that's your favorite part of the pitching rubber.
That's the only thing they've done for the pitchers since 1968.
I've never heard you say that before.
Yeah, and it doesn't work. The old-fashioned tongue depressor works better to get the mud out of your cleats.
74, you had Hank Aaron and the home run record, significant milestone in all of sports for him to do that. But right, basically a little bit almost in the middle of that time frame was a significant year of 1968, where you had an individual in many ways, Bob Gibson, change the sport. But Denny McLain also was great.
McLain had the last 30-game winner.
Right, but he and Gibson, well, you changed the game because of what they were able to do. That's a swing and a miss, but gets away from Molina. So Ishikawa is aboard. Strikeout and third of the night for Adam Wainwright. So strikeout, wild pitch.
Let's see how far this ball bounces out in front. That's not fair for the catcher there, as it almost catches the lip and bounces over their shoulder. Pretty hard to block that one.
Saw a shutout here the other night against the Cardinals. Here's Uribe. You have to go back to John Tudor, 1985, when he started out 1-7 and then wound up with 10 shutouts, which was the most since Jim Palmer did 12 in 1975. So that was a great year, obviously, for John Tudor, but not even close to what we've seen from the Gibson year of '68.
Think about Fergie Jenkins, Marichal, Gaylord Perry pitching for the Giants. Those two, Koufax and Drysdale.
Talked to John Tudor about a month ago, and he said he'll be in town for the All-Star game. That year he was 1-7. That's how he started the season. Someone saw him on TV, former friend and coach that helped him out. Another little glitch in his delivery, and 20-1 after that with a 1.16 ERA. He would have won the Cy Young if not for Dwight Gooden.
You know, Dan, sometimes it's not necessarily, you know, the message, but it's who says it or how they say it that all of a sudden clicks with a pitcher. You know, Dave Duncan or Marty Mason may say something, but you know, one of your fellow pitchers says something, the same thing, but they say it in a different way, and all of a sudden you go, oh, now I get it.
2-1, right center. Rasmus going back. That carried all the way to the track. The knock at times on the center fielder Colby Rasmus is that he can be a little bit too lackadaisical, but talking with Cardinal coaching staff, they think he gets good jumps and his good speed. He's very smooth out there, and sometimes that is misinterpreted as being lazy when he's not. That's the Exmo Cam brought to you by Hot Shot Sports Bar and Grill.
And just like there, for example, you know, I mean, he glides to that ball, he catches it and everything, but he wasn't really frantically getting it back to the infield.
Swing and a miss, throw down to second. Goodbye. Ishikawa thrown out.
Where are you going? That's Yachty back there. As the Butcher Boy plane doesn't make contact, and he's dead out. Ishikawa needs a little protection, and his pitcher didn't provide it. And nice, just wait for the tag, wait for him to get in there. And truly, he did get him in the chest before his hand got the bag.
0-2. Dana DeMuth, by the way, will be calling balls and strikes. Crew chief and home plate umpire for the All-Star game here in St. Louis. Check swing. Brian Gorman at first base. Jeff Kellogg, your favorite, Angel Hernandez, Tim Timmons, Paul Newart.
That's Mike Shannon's favorite umpire. How many years since he's called his name?
Always been his umpiring number. A couple of strikeouts in this inning for Adam Wainwright. 1-0 Cardinals. Early start time tomorrow, 5:30, with our pregame show with Pat Barris, Cal Eldred, and Jim Hayes. Bud Light, what's on tap tomorrow at 5:30. So the Cardinals have a 1-run lead. They've out-hit San Francisco 4-2. Giants have committed a couple of errors in this ball game. And the Cardinals have the top of the lineup: Skip Schumacher, Colby Rasmus, and Albert Pujols. If you're just joining us, Pujols has been up to the plate twice, intentionally walked twice, and the only RBI in this ball game off the bat of Ryan Ludwig. News is upbeat about DeRosa. As Mark DeRosa, if you're just joining us as well, not in the lineup, out with a wrist injury, but he's not on the DL. And he'll miss at least a couple of days, maybe 3. Our understanding is it's not going to be something that would keep him out for a week or so. Let's hope. Lined out to left, and another fine play, this time by Randy Wynn. I know, Jim, you had a chance to catch up with the newest Cardinal, Mark DeRosa, before the game tonight.
Not only before the game, but after last night's game. And I'll tell you, last night he was really concerned. He told me that he went back to his hotel and he was wondering what was going to be. He thought there might be a broken bone. Obviously, got the once-over from the medical staff, got x-rayed and all that. The x-rays were negative, and as you say, Dan, the news is good. It's a left wrist strain. Day-to-day will miss a couple of games, as you say, maybe 3. But Mark thought it could have been a lot worse last night.
And, Jim, my understanding is he has dealt with not a wrist injury before, but he had a pretty gruesome leg injury before and had a popping sound with that, and it kind of related to what he heard last night with his wrist.
Yeah, he said there are so many bones, little bones in the hand and wrist, and he felt the pop, and he was sure that it was something broken and that he was concerned he might be going on the DL, but the news is good, Dan.
Rasmus is 0-for-2. Thanks, Jim. He's popped out to the catcher, flied out to center.
And apparently it was, what, in the 6th inning when he was batting is when either check swing or something, but we did not catch it at that time. We noted that he was replaced and just thought, oh, well, it's been kind of a whirlwind 72 hours. Just give him a little bit of quick break, but we're not aware of the wrist injury until after the game.
2 balls, 2 strikes, 1 out, nobody on. Pujols on deck. Best case scenario, of course, for the Cardinals is to get Gloss back. He begins rehabbing down in Florida, and to get DeRosa back. And this lineup looks completely different.
And remember that, DeRosa, his best position is second base. Can play the corner outfielder position. So, it's if the Cardinals get Gloss back, you still have a very valuable bat at Tony's service.
Here's a 2-2. This is outside. We could see a rare walk here for Colby Rasmus.
He did not have a walk in June.
On the year, there hasn't been many that have piled up, and they've really tried to, in spring training, accentuate that point to have him work the count a little bit more.
He batted .333 in June, 28 for 84, but no walks.
He's got 12 on the year and 228 at bats. Rips it into right field.
I'd rather have that.
Base hit for Colby Rasmus, and it brings in Pujols. As we talked about time and again, so important to get on in front of Albert.
Well, remember, Bruce Bochy has walked him twice tonight, and isn't it kind of ironic? He wins a batting championship as Bruce Bochy intentionally passed Todd Helton out in San Diego, the final game of the season, where Bruce said afterwards he didn't realize that Helton had a chance to win the batting title, and he took it away from him with the intentional pass.
You saw that graphic in the research. Amazing start to his career. Arguably, you make a case it's the greatest start ever.
We were saying that after about year 3. and
it hasn't stopped.
It's just more impressive as we go along.
Pujols lines it into center field. Rasmus to second, on his way to third. And Pujols thought about going to second. He'll stop there. An absolute rocket off his bat, and that shows you the speed of Colby Rasmus. That ball was hit as hard as anything we've seen tonight.
Well, like you're saying, because he hits the ball so hard, it gets to the center fielder, Aaron Rowan, a Gold Glove winner, and a strong throwing arm. But Rasmus beats it clearly, and that was a little closer than Kane that he probably liked.
He's fun to watch run, Rasmus, when he gets it going.
The Cardinals, one of the criticism they have is they're a station-to-station team. They go base to base. But Colby, one of the few guys that very good at going from first to third. And here we are. Can Ludwig provide that protection behind Albert?
He's been up with runners on each time tonight. I talked to Eduardo Perez, who's now working as an analyst for ESPN, the former Cardinal, and he said the one thing that he took away from Pujols, he said obviously he's a great hitter. He said, but running from first to third, he said he was so aggressive, but he said he was one of the best runners from first to third that he ever saw in his career. And he said he attributes that to his IQ, his baseball IQ. He said is off the charts. 0-1 pitch to Ludwig. Little flare, and this ball is foul. And he also mentioned when Scott Rowland first came over to the Cardinals, there was a hitters meeting, and Perez was still part of the team, and it was the first hitters meeting that Rowland was in, and Pujols, a young player at the time, stood up and said, let me tell you how this guy pitches me. First time I saw him, he pitched me outside. He said, he's going to go inside with me tonight. I'm going to hit a home run. And Rowland came away saying,
like, sure, who's this guy?
Who is this guy?
Who does he think he is?
And all of a sudden that night, Albert hit the home run.
I remember June 21st in Kansas City, one of his favorite areas. He called a shot. The next time up, he said, I'm not only going to hit a home run, but I'm going to hit it off the Royals Hall of Fame building.
On the ground is second, 4-6-3 double play. Kane gets out of a jam. End of 5, 1-0. Brought to you by AT&T. Switch to the nation's fastest 3G network. AT&T. Your world delivered. Cardinals lead it 1-0. Ryan Ludwig with the RBI tonight. So he just hit into that 4-6-3 double play to end the 5th. Cardinals have stranded 6 tonight. They've out-hit the Giants 6-2. Wainwright once again here at home pitching very well. We showed you that graphic, his last 5 home starts and the earned runs. Each of those starts terrific as far as giving his team a chance to win.
This is the best we've seen him pitch in a while. You know, he's so efficient, averaging 11 pitches per inning. And remember early in the season how he's getting himself in trouble with high pitch counts. I think he's used his fastball a little bit more today. Here's going to be a curveball.
0-2 pitch. Another curveball blocked by Molina. That one he caught on the wrist.
Yeah, that's your strikeout curveball. Throwing much harder. You kind of try to bury it. Where to get a head curveball, you just kind of lollipop it up there.
Saw the great play made by Rowan earlier.
Curveball.
1-2 pitch. And he got him. Strikeout number 5. And Wainwright has struck out 3 of the last 4 he's seen.
He's a team in strikeouts and also tied for the lead in walks, but that's not an issue here tonight. He's got the good curveball. See, there's that strikeout pitch where you throw it much harder and try to get a guy to get himself out. You'll get that good get ahead curveball. It's just much slower, but it's so slow that they kind of give up on it. There's going to be a fastball away.
This guy is a good athlete. Randy Wynn. He attended Santa Clara University. He was a point guard in their basketball team, and he shared those duties with Steve Nash, former MVP in the NBA.
Oh, Nash was never going to make it basketball.
He's Canadian, by the way, Steve Nash.
Yes, I knew that. Kind of have a Litzicum hairdo.
They upset Arizona in the NCAA tournament. And a ground ball that's off the glove of Schumacher and into right field. A base hit for Randy Wynn. He's 2 for 3.
Schumacher is getting better going to his left, and in this case he might have reached beyond the ball. It looked like it might have gone up. No, does he get the glove beyond the ball? It goes up around the thumb, hits him in the thumb, and goes over the glove.
Last year, Pablo Sandoval was sent to Class A San Jose to begin his 5th season of pro ball. Hit .359 there, then .337 at Double-A Connecticut. And eventually he was called up in mid-August. Who wants it? And the catch made by Duncan. And Wynn retreats back to first.
It's one thing those two need to make sure they're communicating a little better. And Kobe, it's a good thing. You think you got a hiatal hernia now. You run into Duncan, you could be having a lot more problems.
Well, we saw last week these two at Citi Field. I believe it was these two that had a miscommunication in that blowout game, 11-0 loss, and you'd hate to see a one-run game come down to a misplay like that.
Yes, and it was this combo.
And here's Benji Molina. Molina is 0 for 2, a ground out, and he's also flied out to center. Keep an eye on the pitch count always with these starters now, and Molina hits it into shallow right field. Ludwig is there. 65 pitches tonight. Hoffbauer is in the house. It's 1-0 Cardinals. Renaissance Coffee found their frozen drink for just $1 the next day at On the Run at Mobile. Win or lose, when the Cardinals score 6, you score 25-cent drinks at On the Run. Kane back to work, and here's Duncan. Bottom of the 6th, 1-0 Cardinals. Chris Duncan was up with the bases loaded back in the 3rd, struck out. And also was hit into a double play as Ludwig visits with Hal McRae. Bunch of finals already in as Florida beat Washington 5-3. Ground ball, second, falling, slipping, spinning. Uribe makes the play. Toronto blanks Tampa Bay 5-0. Boston, a final in 11, beat Baltimore 6-5. Mets over Milwaukee 1-0. Minnesota over Kansas City 5-1. Dodgers beat Colorado 1-0. Oakland over Detroit 5-1. Yankees over Seattle 4-2. The brothers going head-to-head tonight. Yadi and Benji. And the first pitch by Kane, a strike. Pitch count at an even 80 tonight.
This is the 3rd start in a row. Kane has a total of 1 run of support.
Sandoval, easy play to retire Molina. Jared Hoffpower. In fact, he was wearing number 34. For those just joining us, he has been called up. And here we go with another guy making his major league debut for the Cardinals this year, a team that's in contention in the Central.
15th rookie to appear when he does, and 9th to make a major league debut.
Cardinals option right-hander Clayton Mortensen to AAA.
He was the Cardinals minor league player of the month for June, where he hit .327, 7 home runs, 20 RBIs. Hit .340 against left-handed pitching. Maybe he could be helpful tomorrow night. The problem with Hoffpower is you only can play one position. That's second base.
And the way that Tony likes to use these guys, need to be versatile, but Tyler Green had never played first base. He's played first. He had never played third at this level. He's played third.
I think he'll have. I see Tyler Green making those moves a little easier than Hoffpower.
Thurston again chases that high pitch and flies out to left. Easy inning for Kane. Use baseball and softball equipment to your local sports authority or Johnny Mac store. All items will be donated to Redbird Rookies. Baseball League sponsored by Cardinals Care and Rawlings. And check out Rawlings.com for more information. Since its inception back in 1997, the Cardinals, by the way, have donated over $13 million. And all that money, 100%, goes to children in the St. Louis area. And Redbird Rookies is really the centerpiece of the program, in which they mentor the kids. It's an educational program. Obviously, they play baseball. Number of fields have been donated over the years, and I believe there's
one Friday.
Yeah, this upcoming Friday when we're in Chicago. Here's Nate Shireholtz. Inside pitch and pulls it. This is where one mistake, as Carpenter could tell you in 2 starts ago, can cost you a lead or cost you a game. He was brilliant in that game against New York. He made one bad pitch, and it wound up being a base hit to right.
Well, we don't know exactly how the Mets scored their lone run tonight, but Gallardo struck out 12 Metropolitans and lost 1-0.
2-2 the count on Shireholtz, and then we'll see Renteria and Ishikawa. Cubs leading their game 4-1. Now it's a final. Just turned to a final, and Lou Piniella ejected for the first time since July of 2008. Almost been a year.
Just getting ready for the Cardinals to come in town.
Threw his hat on the ground in anger and started yelling before being tossed out of the game. What did you remember about Lou Piniella as a player?
I played against him in the American League in the bullpens at Yankee Stadium out in left field, and he played left field there. The fans loved him in New York, and he would have such an animated conversation, a lot of hand gesturing, a lot of 4-letter words used, normal New York talk.
So he fit right in.
I mean, it was just comical to watch him just yelling, screaming back at his fans, and the more he called them names, the more they laughed and called him names, and it's just a love. It was a love relationship.
We'll see what happens after this year with Chicago if the Cubs don't make it into postseason play. And Lou Piniella, of course, has been there twice now with the Cubs. Does he want to come back? His contract is up after this year.
Sure, he'll want to come back, and I'm sure that people are going to be looking at some of the front office decisions more than his managerial skills.
Let me ask you this, though. If you're Lou Piniella and knowing that anything could happen in New York, would that be intriguing for you as maybe your final job? He's in his mid-60s now.
There were some that thought that before Girardi got the job that he would be a candidate for the Yankees. I'm sure he was always going to be considered there.
Here's a 3-1 pitch.
The Florida Marlins are a half game back behind the Philadelphia Phillies now.
It's unbelievable. And they'll probably be adding, at the trade deadline more so than subtracting like they've done so many years. This is a big surprise here, no question. The Marlins are, but so are the Giants. Not many people expected this. Wainwright frustrated with himself. 1969, Lou Piniella was the the Rookie of the Year, and Ted Sizemore, the other league, was the Rookie of the Year back in '69.
I don't really know if this is true, but at '69 they were at the downtown stadium in Kansas City, or whether it was on the road or not, but apparently he made the final out of a game running down the first base line and just went right out the stadium and ran home in his uniform, ran back to the hotel or home in the uniform.
And that's how he blew off steam that day, huh?
Yeah, he didn't. He's a rookie. It was a rookie. He didn't want to get thrown out of games that year, but he learned that you don't have to run as far as you can walk home.
You are allowed to make outs in this. It's going to happen, and sometimes those outs happen at the end of the game. Ishikawa, 1-0 pitch by Wainwright. Instead, a check on the runner. Renteria at first.
I always liked the way he competed, though.
It's a good question, though. Who has been the biggest surprise, or the bigger surprise between these two, San Francisco or the Florida Marlins?
In my mind, I think because we're a little more accustomed to Florida, we're sharing the Jupiter spring training site, then I would say the Giants.
I totally agree. After watching them last year and realizing that they needed offense in a bad way, and then we saw them earlier this year and they were at the bottom of most categories offensively in the National League, you thought that, you know, this is a team that, even though with their great pitching, how long would Randy Johnson last? Could Lincecum do what he did a year ago? Is Matt Cain for real this season? And all that has been proven true. In St. Louis for a number of years, he was a threat to run. That's Renteria at first.
And because of the great starting pitching the Giants have, their bullpen has thrown the fewest innings in the National League, so that usually translates into a very effective bullpen. And they're third in the National League in ERA with a good closer.
And the other reason with Florida, they were in it in September last year. There's a swing and a miss, big strikeout, 6 on the night for Adam Wainwright. So they were in it at the very end of the year, and San Francisco had no chance, and you didn't really see a lot coming back here in this 2009 season. That is a 12-6 curveball.
Yeah, start up a neck high and breaks down below the knees, but just that pulling down a lampshade, kind of one of the descriptions of how to throw a curveball.
Here's Uribe with a runner at first, and a curveball on the outside corner. Pitch count still very reasonable tonight for Wainwright, only at 81, and first pitch strikes 19 of 26. He's due up first for the Cardinals in their half.
Still surprised by the power of Uribe. 2 home runs, but you know, he hit the one up in Big Macland in this series.
It was off of Clayton Mortensen, who's now back down in the minor leagues. 0-2 the count. What's he won here on 0-2? Looks like the curveball. 0-2 pitch. There it is. Check swing and a strikeout. And it's time to stretch here at Busch Stadium in St. Louis. Wainwright with 7 strikeouts on the night. Big crowd on hand here at Busch Stadium. And the Cardinals have a 1-0 lead as we move to the bottom of the 7th. And it was Ryan Ludwig with the only RBI. Base hit back in the first inning. Tony La Russa and the Redbirds trying to snap this losing skid. Another base runner thrown out by Molina. And Wainwright, 7 strikeouts tonight. as he's allowed only 3 base hits and hits it down the right field line. This could be trouble. It's slicing and a foul ball. Wainwright, the 8th place hitter, has grounded out to first and flied out to center. Adam here, then Brendan Ryan, and Skip Schumacher. How foul was it? A few feet. And an 0-1 pitch. Outside, 1 ball, 1 strike. The starter is here tonight, partner. The story of this game with Adam Wainwright and Matt Cain.
Absolutely. And then the first inning RBI single by Ludwig.
Bounce to third, Sandoval. Again, before the game, if you're just joining us, 6 Army soldiers, including 2 Missouri residents who sustained severe injuries in combat in Iraq and Afghanistan, received Segway personal transporters to improve their mobility. And if you'd like to find out more about a donation or how you can help out, Segs for Vets, SEGS, the number 4, Vets, VETS.org, segsforvets.org, and a standing ovation for those heroes. Mike Kelly, the voice of the Tigers, involved with that in a very fine program. Speaking of standing ovations, how about Randy Johnson last night walking off the field, and the fans and their knowledge of the game, not just the Cardinals, realizing it could be the final time that we see Randy Johnson here in St. Louis. Slowly hit. Sandoval on the run, a former catcher, and maybe the catcher of the future for the Giants, depending on what happens with one of their top picks from a couple of years ago.
He made 5 errors on the season, and 3 of those were in 1 game at first base. So he's done a very good job. And it's nice to see his versatility. He's only 22 years of age. He doesn't have what you would call the motto physique, but he can hit.
Top of the lineup in Schumacher now with 2 outs. Skip tonight has scored the only run back in the first. He singled. It was a throwing error. Allowed him to get into scoring position and came around on the base hit by Ludwig. Hits it too short. Renteria with it, and the Cardinals go quietly here in the bottom of the 7th. Kane's spot is due up first when we return. The St. Louis Cardinals, and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form, and the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the St. Louis Cardinals. 7 strikeouts tonight for Wainwright. He's allowed 3 base hits, and Matt Cain is out of this game. Pinch hitter will be Fred Lewis, the 28-year-old speedster from Hattiesburg, Mississippi. Pitch count at 83 on the night for Wainwright.
Fred Lewis is 3 for 5 against Wainwright in the past, but 1 for 7 on the road trip. And the first appearance we've seen of him in this series.
This has been the same lineup 3 days in a row for the Giants. This season, 61 games and hitting .253. Made his mark by coming in and playing in the days that Barry Bonds would not. Out in left field. 0-2. So Fred Lewis used off the bench. They have Eli Whiteside, Matt Downs, and Andres Torres on their bench. And Brandon Metters is getting loose in the bullpen.
Curveball.
And it was Cueto who was outstanding in that start tonight for Cincinnati. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Lewis out of Southern University. 2nd round pick back in 2002. And another curveball that's pulled foul. Remember this offseason, San Francisco was mentioned to possibly be in the sweepstakes for Manny Ramirez. And this guy would have been left out, Fred Lewis. Now he has been left out in this series with Wynn, Rowan, and Shireholtz, with Shireholtz emerging in right. Ooh, just missed. 2-2.
Very good pitch there, though. You know, it's giving you 7 solid innings. Now you just kind of get into a mental countdown. And it's so important to get the first man. Fastball away, didn't want it. Curveball, didn't want it. Changeup.
And hit down the right field line. Lewis can run. Touches the bag at first, on his way to second. Dug out by Ludwig. So a key start to this 8th inning. Fred Lewis with the double.
Got many pitches. He settles on the changeup and a little too far in the middle of the plate. See Molina set up away, leaves it on the middle half in, and that's maybe his undoing. They'll get probably some bullpen activity. Nobody warming up the Cardinals yet, but now Thurston going to talk to him about the possibility of a bunt play.
And how they want to play this defensively. Now you've got Rowan. Rowan is 1 for 3 on the night with a strikeout his last time up. We're in the 8th. Tying run at second base.
It's only the 4th hit for the Giants tonight.
Cardinals scored their run back in the 1st inning. And Rowan hits it left side. Brendan Ryan bobbles, throws on the run. Safe at first.
Albert can't believe it. And Tony's coming out to argue also. It looked like he had plenty of time to get him at first base. Todd Tishner is our first base umpire, and I'm sure in his mind he thought that Rowan beat it out, but it sure looked with the naked eye that Albert didn't leave the bag too soon, and it didn't you get the same opinion? He was out. And Albert stays on the bag. Nice play, those soft hands by Albert, and he is out.
The replay clearly shows it. You hear the fans that have a view of it in the suites and the boxes here at the ballpark. So first and second, and nobody out. So base hit for Rowan, and it brings in Randy Wynn.
With Thurston playing in, it cuts down his area, and if he's playing back at just a half a step, he probably makes that play to third baseman. Fine play deep in the hole by Brendan Ryan, and the replay showed that the umpire missed the call.
And it's such a big hit because Fred Lewis was not advancing on the play.
Right.
And what had happened there, Thurston was down, and even if they get him at first base, Fred Lewis had a chance to still advance from second to third. That long throw by Brendan Ryan. Regardless, it's first and second and nobody out.
See how the Giants want to play this now.
Wynn showing bunt. 2 balls and no strikes. He is 2 for 3 tonight. Couple of singles and 2 of their 5 base hits. The Cardinals only have 6 hits on the other side.
One time Wynn recorded now was a line drive to center field. Ball behind the count. Does he switch off?
A 2-0 pitch to the switch hitter.
Showed like he was going to hit that time, and ball 3, but it looked like a pretty good pitch.
Nobody up and throwing in the Cardinal bullpen. 93 pitches tonight for Wainwright. Almost looked like the way that he was approaching the at bat. That last pitch, he's trying to slap it to the left side with that big gap there.
That's why I thought maybe they would switch off and not bunt. Last 2 pitches he did not show bunt. Now on a 3-1 pitch, a good hitter's count, but will they allow him to swing away?
And a 3-1 pitch to Wynn. Bases loaded. They feel uncomfortable now with Sandoval coming in. Bases loaded, nobody out.
And I was going to say, now 3 starts as Duncan will go out and talk to Wainwright. 3 starts, the last 3 starts for Kane. He's gotten a total of 1 run in support. But he's got a chance. His teammates have a chance to break that open right now.
Been a masterful pitching performance here by Adam Wainwright. He has walked 3, he struck out 7. Inning started with a pinch hitting double by Fred Lewis. Infield hit by Rowan where he was clearly out at first. A walk to Randy Wynn. Miller was on the pregame show and talked about playing catch with Dennis Reyes and understanding that getting loose right before the game when those 2 play catch is how he knows his arm is feeling, and it's Dennis Reyes who is up now. And those lefties have been very good.
As good as Reyes has been, Miller has just been even better. I mean, I think left-handed batters are batting 120 against him right now. Sandoval is a switch hitter, batting near 400 from the, almost 390 down, 387 from the right side.
So bases loaded. First pitch by Wainwright. Taken low. Sandoval has lined out to second, lined out to right, and flied out to left.
How to triple play.
Wouldn't that be something here? Here's a 1-0 pitch. 2 balls and no strikes. Last 25 games he has been on base consecutive. Hit, walk, hit by pitch, trying to extend it to 26 tonight. Bases loaded and a 2-0 pitch on its way.
Pitch there. Not a good swing or a mental approach right there by Sandoval, as it was a pitch he couldn't handle when he's ahead in the count 2-0.
Here's a 2-1. Get out of play. 2-2. All right, 2-2. What's he come with here? That breaking ball has been sharp tonight.
I was thinking the same thing, Dan. And you know that Adam has the confidence to even bounce that ball, but you really don't want to run it full. So this is a pitch that you want to get him out on this 2-2 pitch.
2-2 to Sandoval. Maybe tried to overthrow the fastball.
Yes, he did. That's a great description of what he tried to do there. Right? You're kind of going on adrenaline, you're going on fumes. That was his 100 pitch, but in this critical situation, just made that mental mistake of trying to overthrow it.
Biggest pitch of the game right here. 3-2 with the bases loaded to Sandoval. Curveball, and he got him. That took some guts. 8 strikeout tonight. Let's go pitch by pitch, brought to you by Chevrolet.
And that was Molina that called that pitch. But let's start at the beginning. You know, off speed, down and away. Kind of repeats the same thing, falls behind. Then you see the same pitch, gets it up a little bit, swings at it, then over the top. Here's the one he overthrows. And then on a 3-2 pitch, the breaking ball. And Wainwright has full confidence that Molina will block that ball. But after the strikeout, Waino pointed to Molina like, you know, hey, thanks. That was a great call. And it's that execution that sometimes you're thinking about, I want to throw this pitch. And then when the catcher reinforces that thought process by putting down the same pitch, it just convinces you it's the right one.
Benji Molina with one out. High in the air out to left center field. It's well hit. Rasmus back makes the catch.
It's a hanger.
Lewis tags up. We're tied up at 1-1. Benji Molina, his 46th RBI. You know, he has been a low ball hitter. We've seen that in this series, but as you mentioned, he did hang this breaking ball.
He hangs it, and this guy leads the National League in sacrifice flies. There's the hanger right up there in his eyes. A good pitch to get into the air, and he ties this game at 1-1. And he also leads the National League in game-winning RBIs.
How about Rowan not being at second base on that? Trying to tag up.
That's a good point, because that ball is either going to be caught or it's going to be out of the ballpark.
Shireholtz, dangerous bat here. He's 0 for 3. Called out on strikes in the second. He's flied to left and flied to center. The 0-1 pitch. 0-2.
Waino appreciates the fact that Tony's going to leave him in there to try and be able to be qualified for the win and be number 9. But the Cardinals got their lone run in the first and missed opportunities since then.
Got him. Strikeout. Number 9 for Wainwright. Albert Pujols due up second when we come back. Well, join in the final Major League Baseball All-Star Summer. Bring your family to Major League Baseball All-Star Fan Fest July 10th through the 14th at America's Center. For tickets, go to allstargame.com or by calling 888-FANFEST. Sergio Romo, we saw him last night. Allowed no runs in a third of an inning of work. Archevi called to the bullpen, but he left 2 runners in scoring position in the bottom of the 8th before handing off to their closer, Brian Wilson. They finished it off. Colby Rasmus, first pitch, and a fly ball out to left. And Fred Lewis takes it in. Lewis is taken over in left field after doubling and scoring the tying run, and Randy Wynn moves from left to right.
Couple intentional passes the first 2 times up for Albert, and then he extends his hitting streak with a bullet up the middle. He is 9 for his last 20. I would imagine we'll see the National League Player of the Month will be coming his way for his gaudy numbers for last month.
Romo faced Albert Pujols last night and walked him. And then he struck out Ludwig. Molina would double, and then he handed it off to Wilson. 2 balls and no strikes. Wouldn't figure Pujols is going to see anything to hit here. And a check swing.
Kind of a novel idea. I think the Giants are the first one to think about this, but don't let Albert beat you.
The 2-1. And a low strike.
I don't see Albert usually react that way. Below the knees.
So 2-2. The next to Albert Pujols. Lined into center field for a base hit. On base for the 4th time.
And I was about to say that Romo may make a critical mistake here after he got that count 2-2 when they're trying to pitch around him. That all of a sudden you think, oh, I'm going to show you, I'm going to strike him out. Look at this pitch here. Out over the plate. And Romo and the Giants are very thankful that that's the only damage he did was just a single.
Brings in Ludwig. RBI single in the first, walked in the third, and grounded into a double play with runners at first and third and only 1 out back in the 5th.
Cardinals have 7 hits in the night, all 7 singles.
Who knows how that inning would have wound up if Aaron Rowan is called out at first, and clearly he was out in the replay.
I mean, the likelihood is the way Waino went after guys, you know, that sacrifice fly is just the 3rd out.
1 ball, 1 strike, 1 out, runner at first. We're in the bottom of the 8th in a 1-1 game. Pitching on both sides has been terrific. Matt Cain, their starter for the Giants, 7 innings, 1 run, 6 hits, 3 walks, 2 of those intentional. And he struck out 3, and the run was earned. A 1-1 pitch. Ludwig. Left center. Lewis calls for it. Makes the catch. Up to Duncan, who's had a tough night. Duncan has hit into a double play. First time up. Had the bases loaded and struck out on 3 pitches in the 3rd and grounded out to second in the 6th.
Talking to Connie Lansford, the hitting coach of the Giants, and I said, you know, you've got an interesting team. You're a little better hitters than what we thought. And he goes, well, it all depends on if Dr. Jekyll or Mr. Hyde shows up.
Cardinals feel the same way.
That's exactly right.
Connie Lansford was on Tony La Russa's staff with the Cardinals in '97 and '98. Former batting champion back in 1981.
He was a good one. Boy, he was a hard-nosed player and a winning player. And he left the Cardinals and Tony's staff to watch his kids go through high school.
Runner goes, and a throw down to second base, and a steal for Albert Pujols.
10th steal. leads the team in that department. And that was a good time to pick it there. Romo didn't even look at him. Look at the jump he gets. Breaking ball. Benji throws out runners about half of what his younger brother does.
I still think, even though the scouting report is make sure you keep an eye on Pujols, these guys forget about it because
absolutely.
It's a letdown once he's at first base, don't you think?
Yeah, well, you think about that, and then Molina. Yadier has 4 steals and 5 attempts. Another guy they kind of forget about.
Just don't expect it with Albert. And certainly not with Molina. You think about the power and the great bat, but you don't think about base stealing associated with Albert Pujols, but he's a terrific base runner.
Well, you have so many things to worry about him that would be down the list, stolen bases, but you're going to see clubs pay a little more attention to him.
2 balls and a strike, 2 outs. Pujols at second. Duncan, foul. 2-2. It's like Larry Walker was saying to me the other day. Talked to him after he went into the Canadian Baseball Hall of Fame. He said, Dan, I don't know if you pick up on it. He said, but the one thing I pick up when Albert Pujols is in the box is watching how tentative the pitcher is, how he walks around the mound, how he'll kick at the dirt. Anything to delay coming to the plate.
Part of what I did behind the mound was a byproduct of watching when Willie Stargell would be at home plate. From the bullpen, I saw the physical transformation of certain pitchers. They started wilting. You could see that they were nervous. And I picked that up, and I said, if I can see that, what do you think a great hitter like Willie Stargell or Pujols sees? They got to know they own the guy.
3-2.
So that was part of what I try, whether outwardly I try to project a certain image so that you would never see that weakness.
Zito and Wellemeyer tomorrow at 5:30. But there is fear, without question, with some of these pitchers, and there probably should be when you talk about Albert Pujols. Can Duncan deliver here? He needs to.
The Cardinals just need some type of jolt. Something to just kind of give them that lead. Ryan Franklin has been so good, so get the lead. Still, Wainwright's the pitcher of record. He deserves a victory for this game. Kane didn't deserve a loss. And Romo's kind of been the good luck charm of late. He's picked up a couple wins his last few times out.
Wainwright walked 3 and struck out 9, gave up 5 hits. And the sac fly RBI to Benji Molina in the 8th. Yadier Molina's on deck.
Romo's picked up two victories in his last 5 games. The Vulture.
And a 3-2 pitch to Chris Duncan. Long look, here it comes. And he walked him. One thing about Yadier Molina in this spot, doesn't strike out, so he's going to put some pressure here on Romo and this defense of the Giants.
Well, Romo likes that slider, so that's a pitch that's going to be going away from Molina, a right-handed batter, and he is so good at just hitting that ball to the right side into the outfield. Other than Pujols, Molina's the guy I want to see up in an RBI situation.
And so Benji says, okay, I've seen my brother hit about 5,000 times. Here's what I think. Is he can give the best scouting report of anybody inside that dugout. You can see Pujols telling Molina, just relax. And you mentioned that you personally like Molina in this spot. Maybe explain that to the fans, why you like him in this spot.
Well, what I like is the fact that he hits the ball the opposite field. You got a slider pitcher out there, so he's going to try and hit the outside part of the plate. One of Yadi's strengths matches up well with the pitcher's strength, his slider.
So 2 outs, 2 on. There's the slider, and he pulled it. To second, safe. Green, the pinch runner, Tyler Green, safe and hustling all the way. And the move pays off. But they're still waiting to call time, and Pujols was thinking about going home, but now time is called near that third base line.
Is it a makeup call by a different umpire?
Wow.
Mark Carlson is the umpire out there. Now the Giants have a beef.
Boy, it's tough to tell.
Yeah, it looked like Renteria took a little extra time in getting it there, and the throw a little bit off, and so Tyler gets down there, and it shouldn't have been that close a second.
Well, remember, you do not have DeRosa in this spot to come off the bench. You do have LaRue and Keel and Hoffbauer now that Green is in the game. Thurston tonight, they have been going with that two-strike pitch high in the zone, and he has been chasing it. He struck out twice and flied out to left. Let's see how they approach him here the fourth time. Bases loaded for the Cardinals here in the bottom of the eighth. You have to wonder what's going through the mind of Joe Thurston right now, as he has not had very good at-bats tonight. Renteria had an error earlier in this game. Good defensive player, but it led to a run. Could his tardiness on the throw lead to a run here in the eighth inning? What a ball game. 1-1 here in the eighth. Oh, it's slider after slider after slider.
Yeah. And that's what, Albert tell him, Yadier to relax, and then he swings at the first pitch and rolls over. The pitch that I thought he would try and take to the opposite field. He just rolled over and did the pitcher a favor, but Cardinals catch a break and they're still batting. Take a wild pitch also, wouldn't you?
1-1, absolutely. Tony La Russa pulled Green into the game to replace Duncan, and I think you'd have to say Duncan would have been out on that play, and Green with better speed is safe.
Yes.
So the base is loaded, 2 outs, and now Thurston in the hole, 1 ball and 2 strikes. Renteria leads it off for the Giants in the top of the ninth.
Cardinals did not put DeRosa on the disabled list, but unavailable. I think it'd be too risky even to use him as a pinch runner.
Here's a 1-2 pitch. Thurston a check swing. 2-2. Wainwright is at the on-deck circle swinging a bat.
Metters and Sanchez warming up, a righty and a lefty. That's going to be determined before Wainwright's spot comes up.
Big gap in right center field. The 2-2 pitch to Thurston. Here it comes. A little better swing on that slider that time.
Trying to backdoor it. And Molina may go out and talk to Romo and say, hey, get that ball down. Interesting, though, they have attacked the top of the strike zone, and that's something that Kane can do as he throws from a low 3/4. And he really exploited Thurston with trying to throw the ball up and have him swing through it.
Pujols, Green, Molina all aboard, and a 2-2 pitch to Thurston.
He out on his front foot, lucky just to make contact. You gotta want to be in RBI situations. You gotta want to be the guy that, you're either the hero or the GOAT. How shallow Lewis is in and close to the line. Lewis in left, big gap in right center, as you said, a lot of room down the right field line.
Two-two pitch. Thurston, a swing and a miss. And Molina steps on home plate, and that's it. Sergio Romo out of the jam, and 3 strikeouts tonight for Joe Thurston. Brought to you by Budweiser, who thanks you for being a designated driver. And by Bank of America. Cardinals banking only at Bank of America. Tyler Green takes over at second base back in St. Louis and Busch Stadium, and Skip Schumacher takes over in left field. Top of the ninth, and it's 1-1. A gorgeous night here in St. Louis.
And Adam Wainwright back to the mound. So his final inning of work as he'll lead off.
Renteria with a base hit out to left. Over to get it, Schumacher. Does this surprise you?
Yes.
Me too. 105 pitches tonight, now 106.
You know, I mean, he's big and strong. He can handle that, but you know, pressure pitching there in the eighth inning. Had the bases loaded and nobody out. And with a little better luck and a correct call by the first base umpire, he would have gotten out of that inning and still have a 1-0 lead, but it's not the case. It's tied.
Travis Ishikawa is at the plate. He has struck out twice. He was caught stealing in the fifth and has also walked his first time up. And that pitch is taken low and away. Cardinals picked up their run in the first. Giants got a run in the eighth. 1-1 here in the ninth inning.
Righty and lefty working in the Giants pen. Reyes throwing in the Cardinal bullpen.
And that's hit out of play. 1 ball, 1 strike. $36,928 tonight. Here's a 1-1 pitch. Foul back, 1-2.
Andy Pettit wins tonight. He's 8-3. And Rivera picks up his 20th save.
Save number what? 501, 502.
Something in that area.
Yankees have won 7 straight now. Been a streaky team this year. Yankees started 2.5 games back of Boston today. Detroit leads Chicago and Minnesota by 4 in the American League Central Division.
Boston did win 6-5 at Baltimore.
Angels a game and a half in front of Texas. They're expected to get Josh Hamilton back. Baltimore, what a comeback they had in yesterday's game against the Red Sox as they trailed 10-1 and came back and won the ball game.
I'm saying no lead is safe anymore. Once the curveball, it's been very good tonight.
2-2 pitch. Uribe on deck. I wonder if Wainwright is starting to run out of gas.
111 in his pitch count. Curveball.
Runner goes. That's Renteria. Swung on and missed. Thrown out to second. He's safe. Stolen base for Edgar.
Picked the right pitch on the curveball. 10th strikeout. And the 5th stolen base for Renteria.
Ishikawa strikes out for the 3rd time tonight. So on that curveball, got a good jump.
Yeah.
Best pitch to steal off of.
Right.
Winds up in scoring position. Brings in Uribe. Uribe swinging from his heels. Grounded out, fly to center. He is struck out. Fred Lewis is on deck. There's a pinch hitter back in the 8th and got things started for the Giants to tie it up. Tyler Green trying to keep him close at second base, and here comes the 0-1.
Well, Tony's decision. Adam retires Uribe. Do you let him face Fred Lewis, who is 4 for 7 now after his double last inning.
Good curveball again. 1-2.
You can see Adams just starting to grow that mustache as the starters are trying to change their luck, and they're all growing mustaches.
One-two pitch. Spoiled. This has been a heck of a ball game as Cardinals have out-hit the Giants 7-6. Absolutely perfect night for baseball.
And I think that's part of the factor in letting Wainwright go deeper in this game. It's 117 pitches on its way, but you know, a nice cooler evening, you stay invigorated.
And a strikeout, number 11 for Wainwright. Curveball, 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 and then the high heat gets him.
Well, it's 88 miles an hour, but he changes the eye level and throws it right by him.
So Molina out to visit with Wainwright. Remember, Lewis doubled back in the 8th.
Career high in strikeouts. A long time ago, his career high was 8 prior to tonight.
Fred Lewis in the 9th spot in the lineup. The Cardinals, by the way, will have Wainwright due up first, then Brendan Ryan and Skip Schumacher.
We did have a 9 strikeout game earlier this year, but definitely career high in strikeouts with 11 here tonight. So he lets Fred Lewis, as I said, was 3 for 6, and then he got a double against Wainwright. And lets Adam face him.
Little check swing, another curveball. You get concerned with these pitch counts and how Wainwright will be affected 5 days from now. There are times it has affected certain pitchers. They go deep like this, how they come back 5 days later. 119 now.
Creatures of habit, but I think it's just, you know, if you're laboring, you know, it's tougher on you with less pitches. He hasn't labored at all tonight, just a little bit. Maybe, well, he really didn't labor last inning. He just had to pitch out of a jam.
2-1 pitch. I know it drives people crazy, but it's a fact now in the game of baseball that the pitch counts are watched so closely. It is a factor in the game.
It's a factor, and it's one of those that I wish never got started.
2-2 the count on Lewis.
How about Nolan Ryan, you know, taking over as president of the Texas Rangers, and he's talked about how he's going to try and get his pitchers to go a lot deeper in the game, kind of forget about the pitch counts.
Lewis strikes out. 12 tonight for Wainwright, and he strikes out the side here in the 9th. A chance to win it when we come back.
Cardinal clubhouse. Pat Paris and Rick Horton standing by. It's all coming up after the game. For now, we send it upstairs to Dan and Al, guys.
Okay, thanks, Jim. Rick Ankiel is going to pinch hit for Wainwright, who was masterful tonight in striking out 12. A lefty coming in. We'll tell you about the change in our Chevy call to the bullpen when we come back. First pitch to Rick Ankiel from Jeremy Affeldt was a breaking ball and a strike. This one is strike two, swung on, and Rick Ankiel is a pinch hitter this year. He is 1 for 4 for the Cardinals. No runs allowed last 18 innings pitched by Affeldt. He had 2 innings in relief last night. He did face Ankiel and walked him midway through that game. 1.48 ERA, and that's 5th lowest among the National League relievers.
You wouldn't know it by Ankiel's at bat, but left-handed batters are batting more 100 points higher than right-handed hitters.
So a strikeout as he carves up Rick Ankiel. The Home Depot doing more on defense. Aaron Rowan. Very fine play out in center field. Ankiel strikes out. Here's Brendan Ryan.
First batters against Affeldt are now 1 for their last 12. 3 have reached base via that walk during that time, but he owns right-handed batters, and lefties are batting almost 300 against him. Righties well under 200.
Talked about the blister problem that he had for a number of years early on in his career in Kansas City. We saw him also with Cincinnati. Cardinals had interest in him in the offseason. You could see from the left side, big guy, and that's a strike. He throws in that low to mid 90s range. Very good slider. And has been quite effective for San Francisco. 1-1 pitch to Brendan Ryan. Franklin up for the second time. He'll come in and pitch the 10th if we get there. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Brendan Ryan tonight with a single. He's 1 for 3. 2 strikeouts for Affeldt. Adam Wainwright, career high in strikeouts tonight with 12. And the last time the Cardinals had 12 or more, and he's our Budweiser player of the game. You have to go back to 2006. Chris Carpenter, June 13th at Pittsburgh. He struck out 13 that night. Cardinal leadoff man Skip Schumacher scored the only run of the game for the Cardinals. He's lined out. He was robbed by the left fielder Randy Wynn at the time. It's now Fred Lewis, and is also grounded out to short.
Well, we talked about another good pitching matchup for the first time in the first 3 games of this 4-game set. The Cardinal pitcher was equal to the Giants starter. And
Affelt is impressive right now.
Well, I've always liked him, and I really thought this was the guy the Cardinals should have gone after. They didn't want to pay the price tag. The Giants did. But surprised that left-handed batters are batting .293 against him. Righties .177.
Especially seeing that swing that Schumacher just had.
Well, that swing and all 3 that Enkiel had. Goes hard. He's got that nasty breaking ball.
There it is. He puts it in play. Slowly hit to second base. And Skip Schumacher is retired. Top of the lineup. Extra innings coming up for San Francisco. How about the Hall of Famer inducted back in 1999, Orlando Cepeda, with the Cardinals in the late 60s. Number of years with San Francisco. Also played with Atlanta, Oakland, Boston, and Kansas City. Part of some championship teams here in St. Louis.
And then Alberto's. He nicknamed the ball club, traded for Joe Torre. Joe got his. Franklin takes over his 29th appearance, 1-0. Yeah, that great save. 18 and 19 opportunities. ERA below 1 now.
The Cardinals are playing a series against the Giants in St. Louis, so Cepeda just joined the team in the city after that trade. Aaron Rowan, top of the lineup. Ryan Franklin, is he going to be an all-star this year? He's making a case for it.
Sure is. You know, it's not up to the fans. It's up to the Charlie Manuel, who he pitched for. So Charlie is aware of his talent.
9 innings tonight, 1 run, 12 strikeouts for Adam Wainwright.
Yeah, one of the things too, though, is now the manager has a lot of help. Major League Baseball, and kind of goes over those selections with the American and National League manager, selecting the pitchers.
1-2 the count on Rowan. has a couple of hits tonight. Now, Marty Mason knows these guys as well as anybody. We always talk about Dave Duncan, but he deserves a ton of credit with guys like Franklin and some of the others out there in the bullpen. And in talking to him about Franklin before, and he sits right behind me, the team charters, and he said Franklin's got the kind of stuff where he still throws hard enough if you're looking for breaking balls or soft stuff where he'll be able to blow it by you. And he's got a wide assortment of pitches that he can throw for strikes at any time in the count. And that's what makes him so good. And the other factor is, too, he can get righties out and lefties.
Yeah, he's got the weapons. He's got the slider, curveball. He's got the splitter. He actually has to eliminate pitches. And there you see Marty Mason, Cardinal bullpen coach, and Dave Duncan has given him some extremely high praise. And for the most part, Dave will take care of the starters, and Marty, you got all the relievers, and they've done a good job under his tutelage.
Ground ball hit to short. Brendan Ryan up with it. 2 away. The Cardinals will have Albert Pujols due up second in their half of the 10th. It'll be 2, 3, and 4 coming up. Rasmus will lead it off, and then Albert and Ryan Ludwig.
And one of Albert's, memory serves me right, one of his favorite pitchers is warming up, Bob Howery.
Former Cub. Here's Sandoval. Lined out twice. Lined out to second base, lined out to right. Flied out and struck out. Breaking ball and a strike. Howery and Wilson, the closer that we saw last night. Howery, the former Cub, and both these guys throw very hard.
Howery 0 for 3.
Howery's the one with the, not the tail, and without the tattoos, if he needed help. One ball, one strike.
Yeah, I kind of distinguish him because Howery has his name on the back.
It's very good, Al, but at times I don't think you realize that. 1 and 2.
And you better start growing your hair so I can give you that haircut that Wilson has.
I'll pass.
You won't grow a beard for me? You won't grow
Well, I can't.
ponytail?
One is not possible.
Yeah, Luke and I were talking about the other day. He said, I'll be shaving before my dad.
It's probably true. One and 2. Sandoval. Little check swing. Did not go. How efficient Ryan Franklin is. He's thrown 10 pitches. 7 of those have been strikes.
That might even be, for Franklin standards, maybe on the high side of balls thrown.
Two on its way. Got him to reach again. Be quite a story for Ryan Franklin to make it to the All-Star game. A former starter, middle reliever, and we forget when he was first signed by the Cardinals, they weren't sure exactly what they were going to do with Ryan Franklin.
He kind of came here because he was under the impression he was going to get a chance to start. And I think now he's happy he found a home in the bullpen.
A 2-2 pitch. Trying to get him to chase. Franklin is 36 years old.
Well, the one thing, the pace the Cardinals are at recently, he's not going to get worn out.
Not many opportunities.
Ryan wants the slider. That's where he's going to throw.
3-2 pitch. Benji Molina on deck. If Sandoval can extend it here. Giants picked up their run to tie it in the 8th. 2 outs, nobody on. The 3-2. Hit in the air, but out of play.
Speaking of extending, Brett Wallace extended his hitting streak to 15 games tonight.
Mentioned before, he had his average up to close to 300. So will that influence your debate tomorrow with Jim?
Tune in.
I will be here, ready to break up the big fight.
It'll be a fight. Curveball, but wants it down.
3-2, line to short. Cardinals another chance to win it in the bottom of the 10th. Colby, Albert, Ludwig all coming up in a 1-1 game. The 3.86 ERA. He's been a closer in his career before. Opponents hitting .239 against him. Last pitched against Milwaukee, 2 innings, struck out 3. That was on Sunday and walked only 1. It was his 4th outing, tossing at least 2 innings for Bruce Bochy. And here we go. He'll get 2, 3, and 4. Rasmus, Pujols, and Ludwig.
Well, this young man, he heard the Cardinals were looking for hitters. He's ready, isn't he?
Oh, yeah. Imitating his favorite star, Albert Pujols, no doubt.
And is my memory correct? Isn't Howery one of Albert's favorite targets?
I believe he's got him a couple of times.
I think so. But Howery's really pitched well this year, and he's only allowed 1 home run. But he's pitched on quite a roll right now.
Was originally drafted by San Francisco back in 1994. Rasmus, first pitch fouled back. Colby tonight has popped out to the catcher trying to bunt. Flied to center, singled in the 5th, and flied out to left against Sergio Romo. Howery, the 4th pitcher used by the Giants. Matt Cain, their starter, 7 innings. Romo pitched the 8th, Affelt last inning, and now Bob Howery. Outfield deep and straight away. 0-2.
Colby has hit over 300 against right-handed pitching this year. 6 of his 7 home runs against righties. And he's hit over 300 against the Giants this year.
This guy has been a workhorse. Bob Howery, one of 4 pitchers to have pitched at least 70 games in each of the last 4 years.
Very durable. Has that ability to come from behind, and he can throw more than 1 inning. See the big man if he throws a changeup here.
Pitch in the dirt, 1-2. He signed a 1-year, $2.75 million deal after he'd signed a big contract worth $12 million with Chicago.
One ball, 2 strikes. The fastball in.
The 1-2 pitch to Colby Rasmus. 2-2. Howery was a former closer with the White Sox. He was with Boston. After that, he had his surgery on his elbow. Came back with Cleveland. He was strong for a couple of seasons. 3 years with the Cubs and now with San Francisco. 2-2.
Fastball in again, looks like.
The 2-2 to Rasmus. Popped up and out of play. Last home run for Colby was back on the 10th of June when we were at Florida. 2-2. Pujols lurking.
That fastball again in. Hadn't hit the spot yet.
2-2 pitch. Rasmus hits it in the air. It's popped up left side. Sandoval, will he get there? Dropped it. Boy, oh boy, how many times have we said it? You give a major leaguer another life, and many times it comes back to haunt you.
It's an E5, the 6th error, but he really started circling this ball and hits him kind of in the heel of the glove, but that could become very costly.
That's the 3rd error the Giants have committed tonight here in Game 3 of this series.
The only problem is if Rasmus gets a base hit, more times than not, it's an extra base hit, leaving first base open with Albert coming up. This is a changeup.
2-2. Rasmus rips it foul. He was ready for it.
Yeah, right down and in, right in his wheelhouse.
05, it was when Howery signed with the Cubs. 3-year deal. Brian Dempster was injured, and he was the primary closer for a while.
Fastball away.
Another 2-2 pitch to Colby Rasmus. Ooh, goodness. That's a tough pitch to take right there. Wow.
Oh, he saw it. It was just an eyelash down and away. Just an eyelash. On a gnat. I don't think they have eyelashes, but that's how precise it was. Fastball away. Be ready.
The 3-2. Rasmus, right center. Walk-off winner. Out of here. Rasmus wins it. The error by Sandoval. And Colby knocks it out of the ballpark and sends us home with his 8th of the season. The drop ball by Sandoval. Catch that's got to be made. And then the Hardy's prime cut of the game. He launched it into right center. Cardinals win it. Much needed win tonight. Colby the hero. Post-game show coming up.